holy innocence of God. Divine light. In this moment, the willingness to accept, to embrace the divinity that is within all that is. Accepting innocence, eternal innocence, never changed, never altered. In this eternal moment, finding the willingness of the heart to release all beliefs of limitation and separation, to release, surrender all beliefs of struggle, battle, conflict, problems. In this moment, just the yes, that only love is true. Accepting eternal light as the natural state of innocence. And in this moment, the willingness to surrender this day. All that you may have thought you knew about it, all conclusions, all approvals, disapprovals, all reactions, all caution, all suspicion, surrendered. And the willingness in this moment to surrender the future into the hands of God. Willing to release all thoughts of how things should look, how things should be, what they all mean, an agenda, and accepting as fully as possible the ease and grace, the harmony that is waiting within trust. Trusting that there is only love, trusting that God's will is peace and joy. Accept it in this moment. Accept and join in that will to be free, to remember freedom. And in this moment, the willingness to bring humanity into the heart. The willingness to open the heart and invite humanity to rest in the heart of love, perfect and whole and innocent. the willingness that light be recognized within each beloved. And in this moment, the willingness to breathe. Deeply and fully, possibly where you forgot to breathe today, breathing now. Breathing into every cell, every molecule being brought into the divine breath. And as you breathe, inviting that breath down into the throat, releasing the neck and the throat from any holding. Surrendering the mind as you breathe. Breathing into the shoulders, arms and hands, letting everything just let go. Nothing to defend or protect. Breathing into the spine. Inviting the spine to be the liquid of love, moving easily and effortlessly. It's a vehicle of love. Surrendering the spine into the hands of God. Breathing into the heart. Inviting the heart to come forward, open, available. Willing to release in this moment all caution, all suspicions into the hands of God. All the need, the perceptions of need for defense of any kind. And breathing. Breathing into the belly. Surrendering all the organs into the hands of God. Not wanting to keep anything separate, identified as mine. Returning everything into love. And surrendering the hips, and the thighs, and the knees, calves, ankles, and feet, all surrendered into love, to be used for love. To allow all movement to be the expression of love. Consciously using the body to serve union, wholeness, and surrendering the emotional body into the hands of God. Willing to have the emotional body express joy and peace and harmony, compassion. Willing to surrender the mind that has used the body to express fear. And surrendering. Surrendering and breathing. Allowing that here in the infinite circle of love we are one, willing to enter into oneness of remembering, affirming in this moment that this sanctuary is filled with love. This universe is all of love, that nothing else exists. And that no thought of separation can change the truth of love. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God, and within this life force we live and move and breathe as one. One heart and one breath. Yes to love, and yes to peace, and yes to harmony. And allow this prayer to permeate into your heart as the song of love that your heart wants to sing. Oh, my Father, give me strength, give me courage on the road, to be a child of yours on earth and tread the path the Masters showed. Oh, my Mother, help me love, give me comfort to be aware, to obey these sacred teachings. It was your Son who showed the way. Oh, my Master, your compassion can see through this pain, for it was you who came to earth to release us from these chains. Oh, my Father, I am yours, give me comfort to be aware. Send your angels here to guide me on the sacred path of the sun. Oh, my Father and my Mother, who rule the world of love, send your angels to receive me through the gateway of pure love. Send your angels to receive me. Your everyday life is surrounded by angels wanting to lead you, wanting to show you the way, wanting to offer comfort with the truth. Oh, my Father, give me strength. Give me the strength to listen. Give me the strength to obey the sacred teachings, to use all sacred teachings to manifest the truth of love within the earth plane. Oh, my Mother, help me love. Give me comfort to be aware. Every prayer is the opportunity of a deeper surrender. Every prayer of the heart says, yes, I am willing. Show me the way. Elevate my awareness to God that is in everything. Open my heart to see the brilliance of all creation. The brilliance of all creation, the beautiful light that is always shining. It is always in the heart, and it will completely open the mind to the truth of oneness. I am here to sing. Here I am, singing and praising all divine beings, and affirming the blessings of every moment. Elevei o pensamento a Deus lá nas alturas para reconhecer o brilho da formosura, o brilho da formosura e uma luz de alento que limpa meu coração e vigora meu pensamento. Aqui eu vou contando que a minha lida é essa, viva Rei Juramidã e a rainha da floresta. Every moment is the calling to sing through the heart, to sing about the beauty and the perfection of all creation, the promises of love, the holy union of oneness, affirming with such gratitude all divine beings that serve humanity's remembering, opening the heart to gratitude for the opportunity of remembering, and opening the heart in gratitude, but thank God. The belief of separation was a mistake. Thank God. It was just a mistake. Not true, not authentic, just upside down. Once the beloved who was known as Hafiz offers divine healing of truth. How does it feel to be a heart? Once a young woman said to me, "How does it feel to be a man?" And I replied, "My dear, I am not so sure." Then she said, "Well, aren't you a man?" And this time I responded, "I view gender as a beautiful animal that people often take out for a walk on a leash and might enter into some odd contest in hopes of winning a strange prize." My dear, a better question for Hafiz would have been, how does it feel to be a heart? For all that I am aware of is love, and now find my heart infinite and everywhere. How does it feel to be a man? How does it feel to be a woman? The willingness to surrender all identification that speaks of limitation. You have been a man 1,000 times, you have been a woman 1,000 times. Which had validity? Focusing all attention on coming home to the heart. The strangeness in the world focuses on a little tiny identity. And in that little tiny identity, time exists. In that little tiny identity, proving exists. In that little tiny identity, knowing exists. I'm willing to remember the heart is the prayer. I'm willing to see nothing but the heart. To identify with nothing but the heart. Then where would all the battles be? And since the heart is one, where would the conflicts be? What would there be to defend and protect as the one heart of love? This beautiful offering is calling to step into the courage of no longer defending a separate identity. That when someone asks, how does it feel to be fill in the blank? There's no answer. But that when the question comes, how does it feel to be the heart? The words of love just spill. Every master is offering just love. The words may seem to have different forms. There may even be a recognition of different energies. But it's all love. Because there's nothing else. There's nothing really, anything else to offer. And love Love is always truthful, always the truth of creation, the truth of oneness, the truth of reality. How easy is it to heal? It's actually incredibly easy. The ease is to recognize that truth will correct, eliminate, dissolve all errors that have been made up by the mind. Truth is the medicine. Truth is the manna from heaven. Truth is the well that you really want to drink from constantly. Truth is the treatment that you seek. Truth will correct all errors that have been made up by the mind, made up by a false identity. And the errors are all illusions that have gone unrecognized as illusions. Correction, the word correction, means that you are coming back to correctness, to truth. Why is everybody so afraid of correction? Because correction has been given a false identity also. Correction has been given an identity of wrongdoing and punishment. But underneath that is the know. The know, I want to stay somehow separate. I want to stay in battle because I'm so familiar with it. Because I join all my friends in it. But truth will correct, will heal all made up illusions of separation. Truth. And it doesn't even take 10,000 versions of the truth. If you are upset about something that you believe is occurring, what's the first place that you go? Figuring it out? Trying to make sense of it? Trying to see who was right, who was wrong? What the meaning was of it? What the conclusion is of it? How you're going to get out of it? How you're going to fix the problem? How you're going to protect yourself? This is the delay tactics. Imagine that you had an illness And the medicine was sitting right there that would instantly transform the illness. But instead of taking the medicine, instead you go into the neighborhood and talk to everybody about the illness. And all the neighbors are saying, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to see what to do. I don't know yet what to do. And the medicine is sitting right there. How much pain does it take before you're willing to just take the medicine? How many times does the illness come and the medicine isn't taken? The medicine, the truth, the offerings of truth, are given freely. So what keeps anyone from not taking the medicine? The fear of the unknown, the fear of change, the fear of not being in control, the fear of not being right. But the medicine is the opening of your heart. To take the medicine is to offer and accept love. The wanting to suffer has a strong pull. And it doesn't show itself in obvious ways. It uses problems and suspicions and perceptions as a way to self-inflict pain and suffering. To take the medicine would seem to be the easiest thing in the world. That you would come to the medicine with such joy that the medicine is there. That you would be filled with an ecstatic yes to be able to take this medicine, to correct, to dissolve the illusions of pain and suffering. Truth will correct all errors. And recognizing that all errors are illusion. That whatever you have been believing in the name of difficulty, it's just a mistake. It's like going down the freeway and taking the wrong off-ramp. It's a mistake. And then you come back to the truth and allow truth to correct the error. It would be like going on the wrong off-ramp on the freeway and refusing to admit that you took the wrong off-ramp. And you just keep going in the direction that that off-ramp is going to take you because you're determined to be right. That's the insanity of it. And yet the medicine is right there. I remember in the seeming journey of healing, the first time I heard the term giving yourself a treatment. That sounds pretty medical. Treatment, medicine. That when you forget and you get caught in the habit of judgment and opinions and the belief in battle, and that your indicator is, I'm not experiencing any peace, I'm not aware of harmony or joy, I believe I need a treatment. I believe that I'm being called to some strong medicine. And immediately turning toward that medicine, wanting the treatment. What's the difference between someone who is a happy learner or happily on the journey of remembering and one that is not so happy? It's the willingness. And it's the happiness of recognizing that you're going to receive a treatment, that you're actually going to dive in and drink from the well of truth and bring yourself back to sanity. The happiness of, oh, I have the source. I have the source. I have the medicine. I have the way. I'm not lost in the desert without help. I have the way. I have my prayers. I have the sacred teachings. I have everything that is helpful to bring me back to sanity and to allow the truth to correct all perceived errors. I want to be corrected. I welcome the correction. When you welcome the correction, when you welcome the medicine, it's so easy because you've opened the door. You're not playing a game that says, no, I'm going to stay here for however long because I want to be right. Because I want to gnaw on this some more. But once you begin to see that gnawing on whatever it is self-inflicted pain. Is it an agreement To self-inflict pain, yes. Procrastination, delay, avoidance, being right, all of it. It's seductive because it's what you have known. But the upside downness of it is that you didn't realize that you were self-inflicting this pain. All the while you're trying to solve problems within the world with world solutions. And the only problem is that you believe that you're separate from creation, from God. And then in that belief that there are many problems, you're not available for the correction and the recognition that there is only one problem. You believe you are separate. It doesn't matter what form anything comes in. It's all the belief of separation. So you can already eliminate so much of the confusion by recognizing there is only one problem. How much time is spent believing that each problem is separate and different and has a different solution. When you're caught in the belief that something is happening, which is always coming through your own perceptions, your suspicions, your belief that you need to be defended, that there is something that is going to hurt you. If you are willing to recognize it's all the same problem, how many problems have we had in our lifetimes? Billions that come in all these different forms and different values and different degrees and different levels. I'm always reminded of that show that was, I don't know, from the 60s, I guess, Sanford and Son, where he would grab his heart and say, "This is the big one, this is the big one." Every time there's a belief that there's a problem, it always seems to be a big one. No, this is the really big one. This one is really different. This one I have to figure out myself. I can't have a treatment for this. I can't bring the medicine for this. This is different. There's all thousands of variations of the same one problem. So then you give it degrees and you give it levels of importance. So if you just recognize that there's only one problem, you believe that you're separate. So let me recognize it so that it can be healed. I believe in this moment that I am separate. Where is my medicine? The first element of the medicine is, well, since there is no separation, there is no problem, no matter what it looks like. There is no problem. To accept the oneness with God, of God, in God, is to accept there really is no problem. Truth will correct, will heal all the errors of the mind. Truth, love. It's the same thing. Truth and love. Where truth has been accepted, the errors disappear. Accepted. You have this power. This is the power of your yes. But you have to want to accept it. You have to be willing to accept it. So that's the only element that delays the healing, is that you're not willing to accept the truth. Where truth is accepted, all the errors disappear. They vanish. I remember being in seclusion and having the mind conjuring up some problem, some element of problem, and immediately turning to the medicine. Whatever it was in that moment, it was just, I'd rather be happy than right, or truth will erase all errors. There's nothing happening. And in that moment, it would disappear. Whatever it was would disappear. Was that special? No, it wasn't special. It was the power of the divine alchemy of love's healing. To accept that in truth, all errors will disappear, is to accept healing. But you have to want the error to disappear. You have to first recognize the relationship with cause and effect. First, that nothing that is occurring or seems to be occurring within you is caused from anything outside. In the truth, all error will disappear. There is an error in the belief that anything is happening outside. There is nothing happening outside. Everything outside is a mirror that is showing you your beliefs. It's your story. You could sit with a bag of popcorn and watch your story. You would see it clearly what you believe in. When you recognize that, are willing to accept that there is nothing happening out there, it's all here. It's all the perceptions that have been made in agreement, yes, but not to focus on the agreement, to recognize the power of your healing is in your willingness. Period. There is no healing that is going to happen from out there. The healing is in your willingness, that in accepting the truth, all errors will disappear. What is the truth? The truth is that there is only love. There is only harmony. There is only peace. And then the ego would say, well, I don't feel it. Even that identity has an assessment in it that is deciding it knows what peace and harmony would be like. It all comes back to just taking the medicine again and again and again until there's no room for any more thought of disturbance, of problems, of attack, defense. Do you have to wait until there's a problem to take the medicine? No. The happiness of remembering is to take the medicine all the time, to drench yourself, to fill yourself with so much medicine that there isn't room for anything else. To see the truth, the offering of truth through sacred teachings, through all forms of love. To gladly accept it, to gladly swim in it. Does this engender fear in many beloveds that are afraid of losing identity? Sometimes. What the mind makes up is, well, everybody will think I'm crazy. Mm-hmm. If I'm just drinking in spiritual truth, love all the time. When Hafiz was asked the question, how does it feel to be a man, he didn't hesitate to explain, to offer that I view gender as a beautiful animal that people often take out for a walk on a leash and might enter into some contest. My dear, a better question for Hafiz would have been, how does it feel to be a heart? Hafiz wasn't afraid, didn't allow fear to run his life. He wanted to offer love. Truth will correct all errors. Imagine that you're with someone and all of a sudden you realize that you need a treatment. If you had an illness, you wouldn't hesitate on saying, excuse me, I have to go take my medicine. So what stops you from taking your medicine while you're speaking to someone and saying, excuse me, I need some medicine. I'm in an illness right now. I'm believing in a battle. I'm believing in conflict. I'm believing that there's danger. I'm going to excuse myself while I go take some medicine and come back to a place of sanity, a place where I can actually serve. You wouldn't hesitate if you were ill to excuse yourself to take medicine, because you would find that to be the priority. you would find that the most important, number one purpose of your life, to take the medicine. And so it is that it becomes the center of your life, not as an aside, not as something that you do when you have time, but that it's this moment. When I find myself in judgment, in opinions, in pain, in suffering, in knowing, I need my medicine. Truth will correct all the pain and suffering that I am believing in. And the truth is in every sacred teaching. And am I taking that truth and drinking from that truth as it was my medicine, as it was my drink of water in the desert, my life, my way out of a belief of insanity? Truth will correct. And then truth will offer to show you that all errors are illusion. You are healing what you've made up. This is perceived by the ego as blasphemy. To say that all that you believe in the world is illusion. What? You're calling my life an illusion? Yes. When you're not resting in God, you're believing in an illusion. This is not an indictment. This is not an attack. This is part of the offering to recognize where truth is and where it isn't. There's a beautiful teaching of Jesus that cuts through the illusion. So in one of his teachings, he says, in Divine Wisdom, I'm not asking you to, in these teachings, referring to the teachings of love, I'm not asking you to accept these teachings. I'm not even asking you to understand these teachings. I am not asking you to agree with these teachings. I am asking you to live these teachings. Period. Live the teachings. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. Is you take that and not mull it over as whether you agree with it or not to try to understand it, but to accept it and totally want all of what you have been believing in to be corrected, and to accept the truth that there is only love, that there is only harmony, that there is only peace. And the mind can't understand this. The mind will continue to say, How is that possible? I don't feel it, and I'm the decider. It's the acceptance. Truth will correct, and I want the correction. I want to be corrected. I want the truth to correct. I want to recognize that and to live that I have given everything all the meaning that it has. That when I'm believing in pain and suffering, it's because I'm giving something meaning that has no validity. I don't want to spend the next 24 hours or 48 hours or even 10 minutes trying to make sense of what the meaning is that I've given it and why I gave it that meaning, and trying to make sense out of it. I've given it all the meaning that it has, and it's an erroneous meaning. Truth will correct. We look at the wonder, at the miracle of autocorrection. What an amazing concept. Autocorrection. And here is the ultimate autocorrection. Your surrender of what you think you know. The acceptance that it's an error, that it's a mistake, that it's an erroneous belief, and that you're willing for it to be dissolved. This is a leap of faith, for sure. Because when you accept the medicine, when you accept the correction, you are humbly placing on the altar being right. There is such an investment in being right in the world. And it doesn't always come up looking like arrogance. It doesn't at all. It comes up as the perception of battles and the perception of wrongdoings and the perception of someone is right and someone is wrong. There has to be a right and there has to be a wrong. There has to be. I have built my life on things being right and wrong. That there are two sides. There are not two sides. There's one truth. But also to recognize that when you're in that battle of trying to prove that you're right, even about that you're hated, which is completely insane. I want to be right that someone did something to me. I want to be right that life is dangerous. I want to be right that life is hard. I want to be right that life is a difficulty. I'd rather be happy, joyful than being right. The willingness to give up being right. Not to be wrong, to be mistaken. And to recognize that those errors are illusions. That they have no value. They will never bring you to anything except the same identity. I'm willing to be corrected. The call to rest in God is a correction. To rest in God is the truth. You are always actually in God, but you're not aware of it. So the truth within the journey of remembering is to invite and call every beloved to come and rest in God. That's about resting the mind. Resting and trusting and allowing that there is nothing actually occurring except peace and harmony and ease. There's a prayer that says, I rest in God today. And let God work in me and through me while I rest in quiet and in perfect certainty. Resting in God is resting in the truth. Resting is the letting go, the allowing, not to try to control or be in charge of something where there is nothing to be in charge of. Resting in God is a sense of comfort. Oh, I don't have to worry about what to do or what to say. I'm resting in God and I will be shown the way. I'm content to be wherever love calls me to be because I'm resting in God. Because I can be content here. There's nothing happening. There's no problems here. Just resting. The willingness to rest. And that really means resting the mind. Because it's in the mind that all the activity is coming from. That's saying, I know this and I know that. And from the mind using the eyes, because the eyes belong to the ego, using the eyes to assess what everything means. Give the eyes a rest. Let the eyes rest in God. That you only want to see through the heart. That you only want to see the beauty and perfection. That you want to be corrected. That you have spent your life seeing through the perceptions of limitation and separation and making a world of battle. And the battle includes succeeding, proving, assessing. The word rest invokes an awareness that your whole life has been a journey of weariness. That you have been walking in the world, battling, striving, proving, trying to win, afraid of losing, protecting, as if there was something to protect. But if the truth will set you free, and the truth will correct all errors, and the truth is that you are not the body. that you are not limited, that you are not temporary, then what would there be to be afraid of? There cannot be any fear if you accept the truth. Accepting the truth. Not understanding it. Not in any way getting it necessarily. That will come. But the acceptance. I cannot be hurt. I am. The divine truth of God cannot be hurt. And when I believe that I can be hurt in whatever way that I am conjuring up, I am willing to take the medicine of the truth again and again and again until I am truly willing to let go of the illusions of separation. My number one purpose is to take the medicine for the illness of the perception of separateness. Are you really ill? No. But when you believe in a separate world of pain and suffering and battle, it feels like an illness. That's why there's a beautiful teaching called the fever of love. The fever of love calls every beloved to let the fever take you. Let the fever burn up all of the erroneous concepts of separation and to accept the fever of love's healing, the medicine. All truth will take you into a fever. The fever of love. To burn up, transform all that's been believed to be of separation. The willingness to accept the medicine. It takes great humility to accept the medicine. And the arrogance of the ego that insists it knows and is wanting to delay or figure out another way is just prolonging pain and suffering. It will never have a payoff. You will never have a payoff of proving that you're right about what you know in the world. There's never going to be a payoff for it, except the momentary satisfaction of the illusion that you are right. To embrace the truth. I'd rather be happy, I'd rather be joyful than right. It's like throwing down the swords of battle. I'd rather be happy than right. No one that's in a battle finds that easy the first time, but it gets easier. And pretty soon, when you have given up the battle often enough and affirm that you would rather be happy than right, joyful than right about what you think you know, pretty soon the medicine goes down so easily. And you truly begin to welcome the medicine. And then you begin to recognize that you don't want anything but the medicine. You don't want to leave home without it. And so you build your world of the medicine. You affirm prayers constantly. You bring truth to the moment. You want correction as soon as possible, because that is the way to peace. And you're willing to see that self-attack is not kind. Self-attack is not God's will for you. Self-attack has no payoff. And it is always self-attack. There is nothing attacking from outside. Nothing. The willingness to allow truth, love, to correct all errors. But in order to accept that truth, first there has to be a recognition that there is an error. If you are adamant about being right, you will not be able to see that there is an error. You won't even be able to recognize that you're in pain. You will just be fixated on that something outside you is causing pain, where it isn't. It's all coming from a belief of separation, from habit, from the past, from agreements. The willingness to be corrected, to forgive all the errors, and to accept that forgiveness says yes to correction. And forgiveness says, I was mistaken. That's all. I was mistaken. I gave everything a mistaken identity. And I'm willing for the mistaken identities to be released. And in that, everything is corrected. I don't know what this means. I surrender it. I don't know what anything is for. I surrender it. I don't know what to make of anything. I surrender it. I don't know. But I'm willing for everything to be corrected. And I'm saying yes to healing. Saying yes. It's God's will for all of humanity to return to send, to return to the heart, to return to the recognition of oneness. You're not really gone. In truth, when you return to the heart, you recognize, oh, nothing ever happened that actually took me away from the heart. That was my illusion. And I'm willing to step into reality. The reality of love. The reality of peace and harmony and joy. You have the power within you. In this moment, if there are any questions, just accept. Accept the call to carry the medicine with you. To be willing to drink from that medicine all day long if that's what's necessary. To break through the trance of separation and let the truth crack open that trance. As we close. Touch into that willingness within and affirm the willingness to allow and to invite truth to correct all errors, all perceptions of separation, and to drink from that well of love in every sacred teaching. To want to have the sacred treatment of correction, bringing yourself back again and again to the truth. As we close, inviting the healing that has been offered in this moment, the medicine of this moment, to take it into the heart and join that divine teaching, that healing with your yes. Inviting the abundance of love, inviting the abundance of truth, the abundance of all that is, to affirm one heart and one breath. And as we close, the willingness to extend love, to offer love in all of its various forms, to ever beloved, and to accept the love within. And holding each beloved here as we close in quiet harmony, not needing to fill the space with anything other than the open heart.